Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ken Blanton III. I'm a Florida resident and native, born here in Florida, and also lieutenant with Osceola County Fire Department. Have 24 years in service, still serving today, will be on shift tomorrow. I want to take a little time out of my day to speak with you on this special day, a day that we honor our United States Constitution. This is something I feel as an American citizen, as a patriot, that we should do each and every day, for our freedoms are always challenged, and we have to be defended because they're always under attack and so forth. So I say that too is it should be defended because with that being said, in a book that I have here, that if you become an American citizen or studying to become an American citizen, in this handbook there's a lot of content covered. But on page 5, it reads, responsibilities of a citizen: support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The Constitution establishes the U.S. system of representative democracy and outlines the inherent policies of freedom, liberty, and opportunity to which all citizens are entitled to. The continuity of this nation's unique freedom depends on the support of its citizens. When the Constitution and its ideals are challenged, citizens must defend these principles against all adversaries. It says the continuity of this nation's unique freedom depends on the support of its citizens, hence we the people. And when they're challenged, we just have to stand up and speak and not be afraid to speak. And I thank our governor, Ron DeSantis. I thank the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott. I thank some of the elected officials over in Arkansas, the sheriffs. You have Chris Brown, Tim Riles. I thank other people that are standing up across our nation that are just saying in relation to vaccine mandates that, hey, freedom of choice. If you want to get it, get it. If you don't want to get it, you shouldn't be forced to get it. And you shouldn't lose your job over it. And you shouldn't be coerced into that. In fact, it's unconstitutional, it's unethical, and it's not even right. And it's even covered in legal issues that I cover right here. And I read all 38 pages last night. Right? And the states have ultimate authority over public health to make certain mandates. Now, some might say Supreme Court cases this and that, the early 1900s, and I get that and so forth, but I'm not even going to get into all that. I thank our elected officials for standing up for our freedom of choice. And I've been exercising this freedom of choice since last year. I did a 9/11 run, what have you, and so forth, and peacefully saying it's your right. It is your God-given right to choose how you deem fit, and so forth. It shouldn't be mandated. And here, even in that same report, it reads right here. Let me read it here. It says, constitutional provisions may constrain governmental action in the context of public health regulations. The key constraints are those grounded in federalism and the protection of individual rights. For example, the Supreme Court has interpreted the 10th Amendment to prevent the federal government from commandeering or requiring states or localities to adopt and enforce federal policies. In the context of vaccination, this principle prevents Congress from directly requiring states or localities to pass mandatory vaccination laws and implement federal vaccination laws. What it does not do, Congress can always use the spending clause authority and try to offer incentive to states to do so, as long as the amount offered is not so significant as to effectively coerce and functionally commandeer states into enacting the mandate. So, here it is. This was written in 2020, and actually, I believe that we just saw our president start offering states incentives for mandates, for taking the vaccination, right? So, again, states have the authority, and the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment can be found in this book right here, Know Your Bill of Rights. If you don't know them, get the books, you know them. 10th Amendment, keep the government limited. Right there. So, James Madison wrote, "The powers delegated by the proposed Constitution to the federal government are few and defined. Those which are to remain in state governments are numerous and indefinite." I find it interesting, and I thank our governors, again, elected officials that are exercising and know their rights and say for defending our Constitution for our freedom to choose. Per the 10th Amendment, to keep federal government limited, right? And now there's a back door where they can use they call it the spending clause authority to incentivize states to do so. So give a little sentence, and we're seeing it now. So it is our responsibility as citizens, right there, to, when our freedoms are challenged, our Constitution is challenged, then we have to defend the Constitution. We do it peacefully, but know your rights and know what they are and what have you. You know, it's interesting. Ronald Reagan once quoted, "Government's first duty is to protect the people, not run their lives." I find that very interesting and so very true. Government's first duty is to protect the people. And what are they protecting? Your right of freedom of choice. Freedom to choose. Your freedoms based on the United States Constitution. Not to manipulate it for your self-served interest. Not run their lives. In other words, we're making choices for you because we know better than you of how to choose for you and your well-being and your family. I beg to differ. Ronald Reagan also said, "Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handled on for them to do the same." So, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Freedom. That is such a powerful statement. And I feel right now that we are seeing unique times that if we don't defend our freedoms and uphold our freedoms and protect our freedoms and be voiced and not allow ourselves to be bullied, then our freedoms are on the brink of extinction. But we need to defend them for our children and know those things. You know, Ronald Reagan gave another quote. He said, "Within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all of the problems man face." Let me read that again. Within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all the problems of man face. Now you're reading here. In this book, in this context. Here, this book right here. Read that. Interesting fact for the United States Constitution. It reads as this: that the Holy Bible was found to have directly contributed to 34% of all the quotes by the Founding Fathers. This was discovered after reviewing 15,000 items from the Founding Fathers, including newspaper articles, pamphlets, books, monograms, etc. The other main founders or sources that the founders found quoted include Montesquieu, Blackstone, Locke, Fendorf, etc., who themselves took 6% of their quotes directly from the Bible. Direct and indirect quotes combined reveal that the majority of quotes the Founding Fathers are derived from the Bible. That's about 94%. 94%. Between Founding Fathers, those gentlemen this good book. Quotes taken for our Constitution. The one that Ronald Reagan said within the covers of the Bible are the answers for all the problems man face. That was one of our presidents, one of the greatest presidents I ever known. George Washington said this: "The perpetuous smiles of heaven can never be accepted on a nation that disregards the internal rules of order and right which heaven itself has ordained." George Washington, his inaugural address in 1789. Benjamin Franklin wrote this in 1787, Constitutional Convention: "I therefore beg leave to move that henceforth prayers imploring the assistance of heaven and its blessing on our deliberations be held in the assembly every morning." He requested to be prayer opening before congressional sessions every morning, seeking guidance. What have you? Thomas Jefferson, 1781, notes on the state of Virginia: "I tremble for my country when I reflect that God is just, that his just cannot sleep forever." Folks, this is not about, division. There's so much division, and I believe that Dwight Eisenhower said he added one nation under God to the Pledge of Allegiance. And that was pretty profound, right? That we are one nation under God, united. So, indivisible. And why is that so? Because it says in Mark chapter 3, verse 23 and 24, right in here, it says this. That's what Jesus said: "And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand." I remember growing up saying I pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands. One nation under God, indivisible. Indivisible. Folks, there has never been a more time more important than right now that we need to defend our Constitution, our freedom of choice, and know your rights. And also, too, to stand united and how to choose and not be bullied and not be ridiculed for doing your patriotic duty and just upholding your Constitution. There has never been, I feel, a more important time for that than right now. When we stood together, united as one, we became a nation and fought against a tyrannical government in the Britons, and we fought against them and became a nation, hence the 13 colonies in the United States of America. We fought against a tyranny. Right? It's interesting. Ronald Reagan also said this: "If we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation under God." Let me say it again. Ronald Reagan said, if we ever forget that we are one nation under God, then we will be a nation under God. Now, if you read that in Psalms here, in Psalm 33:11, it reads, "The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the thoughts of his heart to all generations. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance. The Lord looketh from heaven, and he beholdeth all the sons of man. From the place of his habitation he looketh upon all the inhabitants of the earth. He fashioneth their hearts alike, he considereth all their works." Read again in Psalm 33:12. "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, and the people whom he hath chosen for his own inheritance." So, friend, that quote from Ronald Reagan, between the two books right here, all answer be answered. Our founding fathers, I even said that. So it's about time I think we start getting back to some grassroots of where we're at and know our freedoms and protect those, right? And not allow ourselves to be bullied or ridiculed in that fashion. And one last quote. And as I continue to pray for our elected officials standing up for our freedoms, and I pray for their protection and their families, and they have the courage to keep on speaking and fighting, standing up. And I encourage all those others that are maybe wanting to speak up and just fearful of what might happen. Don't be afraid, but be courageous to speak up. Don't be afraid to exercise your voice to speak on that behalf and I have you for your freedoms. Okay? But Ronald Reagan said this: above all, we must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of all the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of a free man and woman. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. Above all, we must realize there is no arsenal, no weapon in the arsenals of the world so formidable as the will and moral courage of a free man and woman. There is so much that is something that's always going to be attacked, is our courage of free will and freedom. It says we live in a land of the free because of the brave. Well, we need to honor those brave, and as American citizens, keep upholding our Constitution, protecting it, and so forth. Just like it reads in that book, responsibilities of a citizen. When we, foreign or domestic, when our Constitution is being attacked, when our rights are being attacked, then we speak up and we hold them accountable to the Constitution. Hold them accountable. Do not let them overexert their authorities where they have no authority and say they do. Manipulate, use little backdoor rooms to try to navigate their way through. No. So, and the last, I end with this from a quote from Spartan. Fear means two things. Has two meanings. Fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. The choice is yours. I'll say that one more time. Fear has two meanings. Forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. I ask each and one of you today, peacefully, I thank you for your time, and I hope you rise to the occasion. When you feel your rights are being infringed upon, and if you don't know, get a book right here. Know Your Bill of Rights, another great book. This is free. When you become a U.S. citizen, read Know Your Rights. If you don't know what your rights are, if you don't know what their limitations are in the 10th Amendment, then they will surely take them away from you. Until then, listen, be safe, stay strong, keep moving forward, and God bless the USA. In Jesus' name.